Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to get one of the easiest achievements in the game as the Soviet Union's one step forward, and we'll transition this into one of the harder achievements in the game, not one step back. Now, the one step forward achievement is actually extremely easy. Actually, let's just pause this music real quick. If we come here, you literally just have to declare war on Poland and Germany before Germany declares war on Poland. That is super easy. You can do that by the end of 37. You just double justify, declaring both of them. It seems like a daunting achievement, but it's actually incredibly easy. What I'm going to do is actually slightly more difficult than that. I'm going to transition one step forward into not a step back and just propaganda. Once you've declared on Germany and take them out, well, you don't have anybody left who's going to declare war on you. You kind of just got to let the game run until 1945. And then this one is just unlock all three slots and then just constantly click the buttons. So anyways, to start, you might think we're going to do the basic industry, but we're actually not going to do construction. Construction takes too long. We're just going to get the infantry equipment defense, breakthrough, whatever stuff. I am only going to build mills. We are going for an early war. Civs simply do not have time to pay themselves off. We're just going to find any 80% slots we have, and we're just going to build in those. We're obviously not going to convert down our military factories. I'm going to scale up artillery and support equipment production. We're going to leave the BT-7 in production. We are going to produce fighters. We're going to want a larger air force than them. And I forgot, actually, the Soviets don't actually start with CAS 1. But I guess, okay, never mind. We will get the CAS, then we'll get the infantry support equipment. Because we want CAS at some point in time. We're not going to bother with the strategic bombers. So we'll just produce guns until we have the CAS. We will import one rubber, not two. The second one's not really worth it. Focus-wise, we are going to deal with the purge. And then with our army, we want to split off the NKVD divisions. We're going to need to garrison this coastline, separate everyone else off. We're going to just straight delete the cavalry. We don't need the cavalry. Outside of that, we can split off the armor. I'm going to keep 6 divisions over here, 6 proper divisions. Just because if I don't, I'll forget about the border skirmish, and I don't want to forget about the border skirmish. We're going to want to move our navy out to Leningrad. And then we're going to want to block off this area so that they stop using convoys, because we don't have convoys. Navy, we're not going to bother with these. We will finish these two, actually, make sure they get put in Leningrad. We're going to have to manually set that. And, not click on the infantry. And then we are going to want to finish these. We want naval supremacy. And submarines will help us get there. If we have a larger fleet than the Germans, they aren't going to be able to navally invade, and then we'll be fine. They won't be able to snipe a core or something like that. Actually, that's a perfectly fine sub to just mass produce. So we're going to take this army, split it up. We're going to put half of it on the border. The other half we are going to put behind the border. Why is this? Well, we want the Polish to attack us. And if we put our whole army there, there's no chance they're going to think they're strong enough. For field marshals, we could technically use anybody because I don't think they're going to get purged by the time we declare war. But we might as well use one of the guys that are going to stick around long enough for the German war. The same idea for the generals. And now we're ready to go. And we're just going to justify in Poland with our first 40 political power, or however much it takes. It's going to take us 50. We don't want to wait for our ability to go down to the Comintern and then do claims on Poland. That takes too long. I mean, if we hard rush it, it's about the same amount of time, but there's other focuses we would like to do to prepare ourselves for the war with Germany while we're waiting for the purge. We've got our 50 political power, so let's go and justify on Poland. Do it for Warsaw, I guess. It doesn't matter. Now, we could do the double justification trick, but I'm not going to bother. We don't need to be worried about Poland getting guaranteed, and we don't need to worry about Germany getting guaranteed. Okay, we are going to mobilize the armed forces. Gives us 5% war support. It's not a bad thing. We're going to continue down to the first purge. Alright, political paranoia just showed up. That's fine. We will deal with it. That's why we're doing the purges. We're about to get towards 75 political power. And this is enough to actually justify on the Germans. We're not going to do that simply because it's risky. You're going to get the radio though. If we justify on them, it's going to cause 24% world tension. That's going to put us over 25%. At that point, Poland could theoretically get guaranteed. Now, maybe you want that. Maybe you want to go to the war with the UK, but the easier way is to avoid a war with the UK, so we're not going to do that. So let's continue on to the purge. With 150 political power, I'm actually going to go to partial mob. I'm not going to go to war economy because when we go to war, we're not going to have the war support to maintain it. I'm also going to do concentrated industry. We're not going to be swapping our production lines around at any point in time, so we don't need the higher levels of base retention or any of the other bonuses these apply. The factory output will be more than enough. Okay, like I said, we're going to go to partial mode because we're never going to be able to maintain the war support for war economy. As it is, we're likely going to get strikes. So our second political power expenditure is going to be the popular figurehead, or actually it's going to be our third. Looking at the justification time, we're going to want to immediately justify in Germany. Just, we want to be at war with them as soon as possible. Okay, we got rid of a bunch of nobodies. After finishing the first purge, we're going to go down and expand the agitprop. That's an awkward word to say. Doing this gives us 10% base stability, and it allows us to start doing the decisions. The decisions, you want to start doing them as early as possible if you're going to get this achievement. Okay, so we have CAS. Let's go for the infantry support weapons, and we're going to put that CAS into production. We're going to go back down to 10 on infantry equipment, and then we're going to steal the rest from fighters. Okay, so there's the Spanish Civil War. We're actually going to ignore the Spanish Civil War. We could send volunteers, actually, and get the daily army experience gain. Here's the thing. We're going to cap Germany before that actually generates us any noticeable amount of army experience. So it's really just a waste of 70 days, or at the least, it's a waste of 35 days. So let's expand the agitprop. Having expanded the agitprop, we're going to come back and do socialism in one country, just to get rid of a little bit of political paranoia. We're also going to forge some production reports. We can also pair that with we will accomplish a high yield. This is one of the best of the different decisions. After a while though, you're just going to want to be clicking whichever one's available, just for the achievement's sake. Okay, radio is done. Let's go do improved machine tools. Now, one thing we could have done is created an agency and then do a collaboration government on Germany just to make them cap faster. You can do this from day one. I just thought about it. You could theoretically do it on Poland too, but I don't think it's worthwhile there. Okay, socialism in one country is done. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get collectivist propaganda for the extra stability. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to do the rehabilitated military focus. So we're about to go to war, so we're just going to set up the Air Force. We're going to have the largest Air Force here. We're just going to set half here, half there. Just give us a little bit of aerial supremacy. And we're going to declare war on Poland. Now that we've declared war on Poland, we can justify on Germany. Because Germany's not going to get guaranteed by the Allies. We now have 225 days where we cannot cap Poland, because we need to be at war with both of them at the same time. We also have the political power to go for popular figurehead. This is still really low stability. You don't like being at war with this low stability. We are very likely to get either draft dodging or strikes, but it is what it is. Okay, so Poland did not immediately start attacking us like I would have liked them. So we're going to take our 9 tanks. I consolidated some of them just because I was a bit behind on tanks. You're going to be a bit behind on tanks too. We're going to bring them up to Minsk and we're going to push to Wilno. We'll just make a little encirclement in the north. And if they're not going to push us, we're going to bring our entire air force here and just put it over eastern Poland. Should probably go off of speed 5 at this point, right? When you have the political power, you can do war propaganda. We're just going to push straight west. Give it a little bit of support from the infantry, but the tanks should be able to make this push by themselves. They're not particularly good tanks, but they're still tanks and they can't get pierced, so they're doing 40% more damage than infantry would with the same stats. Okay, pin these guys in, make sure they don't leave. And that's the north encircled. A little bit of micro, nice little encirclement. We're going to delete the tanks front line. And we're just going to just close this northern pocket. Oh, and they last stand. We're not going to take a bad combat if they're going to last stand. Any of the good combats is fine. The army experience isn't much, but it's nice. This is part of the reason why we wanted to go to war so quickly. Don't allow Germany to get their doctrines, because that's the main advantage they're going to have by barb time, right? They're going to have their doctrines, whereas right now we don't have any. And we're not going to have as many when that happens either. And we're just going to make small controlled pushes here. We don't need to push particularly fast because we can't cap them yet. You actually have to be at war with both at the same time. Let's go get the artillery soft attack. That'll be nice. And we'll get concentrated too. Now, at this point, all future factories are going to go on AA. We need AA because Germany does start with a couple of tanks and they start with a production line of tanks. So we do need the piercing. So with these small pushes, we're just trying to take some supply hubs, just make our life a little easier. You don't want to lose any unnecessary equipment though. That's the main thing. Okay, collectivist propaganda is done. We don't really need to do the rest of them, but we can do the next purge. That's what we're going to do. Speaking of purge, now is probably a good time to take a look at this. Okay, it's getting a little high. If you want to keep this below 25%, just inspect the Navy. I don't really care. I think I'm just going to do every hit of a hammer hits the enemy. It's a propaganda campaign. It's not bad. And, it counts towards those 30 that you need to do if you want to get the achievement. So we've actually cut off the center here, which is nice. They have the supply hub, but they don't actually have any connection to the supply hub, so they're not going to get any from it. And we're about to get these 2 supply hubs. I am aware of this. That is a UI bug from one of the mods I use, this question mark thing, but it makes the front lines look way better. Now we've taken these supply hubs, we're just going to continue pushing across here. We'll make an encirclement of their entire army. I want to encircle Krakow and Warsaw. They will not cap if they have both of them. And then I just want to establish the front line with Germany. I want to be able to get into position, get proper entrenchment and all that, while still having not capped Poland, because if we haven't capped Poland, then we can still get the achievement. So we did manage to get the encirclement of most of the Polish army. That's really good for us. As you're doing this, you should pull more and more of these troops up to the front as you have more and more supply. So as tempting as it is to go for Warsaw, we cannot. We're going to spread out this way. We're going to take this railroad around Warsaw, and we'll build a little extension here. And then same with Krakow, we're going to have to go around Krakow. So I'm going to push in this pocket, but if you want to be cheeky, don't actually clear it. If you don't clear the pocket, you'll get 50-ish% of the equipment that's left in it. Now they're going to be continually losing some from the attrition, but you'll get some. Or you can just close it. It's just Polish equipment. What are you really missing? Like I said, we're going to have to build a railway here just to connect the 2 up, and then we're just going to keep building mills. Alrighty, second purge is done. And we're going to come up here and we're going to start working towards rehabilitated military. We're going to go right, and we've got enough for an air doctrine. Now, of the first air doctrines, battlefield support is actually the best. The fighter detection is better than the other 2. We're not going to get significantly far through our tree, so we're just going to do the fighter detection. So this is the place we're going to sit. We've got Poland at 87% towards capitulation. If we took either of these cities, they would capitulate. So we're good. We just need to leave a couple of units around them, and I'm going to use the tanks for this. We just need to station 1 unit on each province to surround them. The rest of the armies we're going to want to put on the front with the Germans. 1 set of infantry for here, the other 3 for the western front. Make sure nobody walks over Warsaw. We're good. I'd prefer if they railroaded around Warsaw, but can't expect that out of the AI. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give him infantry leader so that he's a specialist, and I'm going to actually appoint him to the high command. Nice little 10% defense bonus against the Germans is not going to be a bad thing. And then we can also get the army regrouping expert. We're going to have a larger air force, so we don't really need the concealment expert. The improved machine tools are done. Let's start working on the improved infantry equipment. Oh, and it turns out we got a purge event. It was of the Navy though, so that's fine. I mean, I'm really not paying attention to the purge as much as I should be. As for occupation, I'm going to put things on local police force. But I'm doing it because it takes the least amount of garrisons, and no other reason. Just because it takes the least amount of garrisons. Alrighty, we finished cohesion. We finished cohesion first. We cannot actually go down to rehabilitated military. I didn't notice it says not political paranoia active. So we have 1 focus that we can do before we have to do this one and then go on to the next purge. And I think I'm going to go get the new Soviet woman, 10% base stability. I'm very surprised I have not gotten strikes yet because I'm clearly in a position where I could. Ooh, I was just looking at this actually. I didn't record it, but I was looking at it and I was like, I should do one of these, but I don't have the political power. None of these are actually that bad other than the support unit research speed, and we're not doing any of that, so it's actually a nothing burger. Okay, interwar artillery is done. We're not going to bother with the next level of artillery. What instead I'm going to do is I'm going to get the support equipment, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make a small change to the BT-7. I want to make it a 3-man turret, and I actually want to give it the close support gun. A little bit more expensive, but way better soft attack. And a basic radio would probably help. We can drop down to riveted armor, and we're getting close to the point where I think we can add engineers instead of support artillery, and then just add a line artillery. We're very behind on support equipment though if we do that, but we'll do that. And the reason we're behind on support equipment is I forgot to swap to the Cav. That'll help us out a bit, swapping to the Cav. We're over the threshold again. Let's do another Navy one. Really? In the time it took for this event to fire, we got an event? Sure, we'll go to the higher political paranoia guy, and then we'll sit on this event until it automatically finishes. We'll get 1 to 2 ticks of political paranoia, which will make it more than nothing. Okay, we finished the new Soviet woman, so we're going to go on to worker dictatorship, which will allow us to go on to the next purge. So we don't actually ever have to click this. It will automatically click itself when the time expires, and it automatically takes the top one. So hopefully we get a second tick. We did not. Hey, what are you doing? You're trying to break out. Can't allow that. Okay, there's the justification for Königsberg done. We're going to immediately declare war on Germany. And there's the achievement. Now I will take the time to actually capitulate Germany, but you're in a perfect spot to get not a step back, just proper gander, and we can finally cap Poland. And once we cap Poland, we'll take the tanks to clear out Königsberg. Italy joined, huh? That is a little dangerous that Italy joined, but not enough for me to actually care. Just because Italy loves launching its stupid naval invasions all over the place. But we've got 100 ships at this point, so we're just going to put them on strike force. We're going to move them to Danzig. I think we'll convert these guys to a coastal defense garrison and just make sure they're guarding the ports. Alrighty, there goes Poland. We can take all their states. We could puppet them, but, you know, I don't care to. And then tanks up to Königsberg. Theoretically, we don't actually want to take Königsberg. We could cheese the AI if we don't. I'm going to do another, we will accomplish a high yield. We don't need to, but you need to do something. The game actually thinks they might push here. Interesting. I mean, honestly, they might. Got some pretty high planning bonus there. Germany. Okay, and now for the cheese. We're going to take all of these infantry. We're going to put them on the front line here. We're going to give these guys the empty order. We're going to create a field marshal front line here with no units actually assigned to it. And we're just going to line up tanks around it. And we're just going to support attack into Königsberg. Now the reason we're support attacking is they won't actually move when they finish the attack. If they have an actual order, the support attack will convert to a regular attack, but because they don't have an actual order, we can do this. Okay, we finished the workers' dictatorship. We need to wait 1 day, and then we're going to do the next purge. So now the AI should move units into here. If they don't, we'll just clear it and we'll just, make an encirclement here, but I just want to see if they will. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Now they won't put any units there if they don't think they have enough to spare, but they did find 1 to spare, so we'll just kill it real quick. Hey, they found a tank. Fine. And another tank. Oh, another 3 showed up. Oh, now there's 4. Oh, and another one showed up while we were clearing that. That was 5 more divisions. I kind of want Germany to Anschluss. I'm not going to lie. But they don't have 500k in the field, so they can't. That's a bit awkward. 3 more infantry showed up. Alrighty, I think that's enough cheese. Let's just get rid of this. We'll have to sit here for a couple days because they might be moving more divisions there and they don't cancel that order. But we're just going to punch south towards Dresden. The trial of the generals is done. Good, I was not using any of those generals. Why are the Germans strap bombing the Caucasus? What? Am I too small-brained to figure that out, or is the AI just dumb? Alrighty, time to push. Just gonna push these 3 tiles. We'll leave 2 divisions behind each time. Trap them against the Czech border. There we go. Nice little 3-tile encirclement. Encircles a large portion of the German army. And then we'll just start pushing in with the infantry. Clean this up. And we're going to need to move the air up. Alrighty, pocket is rapidly being closed. And then after that, we might even be able to just battle plan the Germans. Ooh, that is really high political paranoia. But in 2 days we'll lose 30. Okay, let's collect the tanks. We're going to make a push along this railway. We're going to open it up a little bit first, though. We're going to take this 1 forest tile first, though. If I justify a war goal on you, will you get guaranteed? Okay, we'll have to do the justification trick, though. It's very expensive when you're not fascist, but you can still do it. Do desperate measures now. Hey, we're actually going to have enough for 1 doctrine. Honestly, it is better for us to just swap to superior firepower than it is to do any of the rest of these doctrines. The first superior firepower doctrine gives us more than even going down to the split point, defense in depth. Alright, we're just going to push along here. We're going to grab this supply hub, and then we're going to grab Stettin. Just take this side of the river. And for some reason that was immediately activated because of the river, even though we completely do not control the entire river. But either way, we can just push along to Stettin. We'll have this entire northern bit mostly cut off. We just need to push along here a bit and take that 1 port. Oh, that is a lot of Italian divisions. They were planning a naval invasion. That's what that means. When you find a lot of divisions sitting on a port, they're planning a naval invasion. Hey, we got a couple of infantry leaders. Let's go appoint those. Hey, can I point you to a high command position? I can. Guess who's getting promoted to field marshal? This dude. Oh, we don't have the command power. Once we have the command power, and we're going to want to encircle the Italians on this tile. Oh, they finally unassigned them from the naval invasion order. The other option is the AI just bugged out and never moved their units once they got here. Both options are possible, but it's more likely that they were on a naval invasion order. That's a pretty bad one, but it's gonna happen when you get the event that gives you 4 a week. You can either spend all of your political power keeping political paranoia down, or you can just take the penalties. I'm gonna just take the penalties. Okay, desperate measures is done. Go get the political power from the common turn. Come on, get this tile. Okay, encircle them in the center. We'll work on closing that. Oh, they abandoned Berlin. Go take it. 1 unit you should be able to push. Alrighty, we finally got this encircled, so should be able to start killing them all off. And we took Berlin. Nice, nice, nice. Push around to Rostock. We should be able to get 3 divisions doing that. You know, I think we're doing quite well here. 65 to 750. That's a pretty good trade. Oh, they had a whole bunch on this port too. Let's go on to Lubeck then. And we'll push back onto Rostock, and we'll try and push them off the port. Because that's a lot of divisions. I think some of those got out of the port, or they might have gotten overrun. There is a bug regarding ports and retreating out of them, but I think we should just be able to battle plan aggressively. Okay. In preparation for invasion of Sicily, I'm going to send the fleet to the Black Sea. Why will you not go through there? Is it because I'm at war they won't go through? I can't tell if that's a bug or intentional game design. Because I should be able to move through the Bosphorus. Okay, Comintern is done. We can still send military advisors to Spain. You know what? Might as well, right? Just do a little bit of micro. Oh, nice. The little bit of micro I did in the south encircled another 10 divisions. We'll just send you off to Frankfurt, you off to Nuremberg. We're going to need to host a kangaroo court there. We're going to charge them with all the crimes they were thinking about committing but haven't actually committed yet. Looking back on it, Toad Anti-Air was kind of a waste of time. Because I'm only now getting to the point where I can actually add it to my divisions and have approximately the right amount. We're just going to snake for these last couple of victory points. So if we can't navally invade there, then we're going to have to navally invade the other way. Which is fine, but it just means I need to set up new orders. Okay, there's their capitulation. We found some Italians. Let's go get rid of them. And we'll set up for the naval invasion. How many divisions does Italy have left? A lot, surprisingly. He has really good stats, damn. Okay, we have enough artillery. We can get the Holy Trinity. Engineers AA support artillery. We're going to move a whole army down to Sevastopol. And then another one over to Odessa. They should maybe be able to move through the Bosphorus. The other one we're going to put in Wilhelmshaven and next to Hamburg. Because at the end of the day, we should be able to get there somehow. What if we just sent 1 division per order? And we just launched it now and hoped for the best. It would put you on convoy escort. All of these sea zones, you don't have range for those 2. Okay, if we split off, I think we're going to have to split off everything that isn't the battleships. Yes, they do just barely have the range because they're using our Black Sea port. And just in case that fails, we'll create new ones. Because, you know, it is only 2 divisions we're sending. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, would you guys like to hold and come help, please? There we go. Okay, split those guys off, launch the next set. And hopefully some of these land. We should be able to give them some support. And they actually have a division on this tile. Oh, we're getting rid of some Navy guys now. Should probably pay attention to this, right? Let's click that button. Do another investigation into the Navy. And they actually had divisions here. When does the AI garrison its ports? Anyways, let's finish the purge. Okay, we're gonna have to do this the expensive way then. Justify on Czechoslovakia. They'll both guarantee. Now we'll cancel. We'll justify on Bulgaria. The British and the French should guarantee at some point. They can't guarantee if they don't have political power. But if they're guaranteeing too many countries, they just kind of run out of political power. It becomes too expensive. We'll let this go for a couple days, and if it doesn't happen, then we can cancel, and we're going to justify on Switzerland. We'll just push through the Swiss Alps. They guaranteed Switzerland. Do I just justify on national Spain then? Navally invade from there? We'll give it one last go. Third Moscow trial is over. That should mean political paranoia is done. Good. We can do rehabilitate the military now if we wanted to, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, your focus order doesn't really matter at all. At this point, you should just like start clicking these buttons as much as you can. Nice, we assassinated Trotsky, and then we got an agent captured. Wait, they didn't put anything on the port next to Palmero. Okay, well then just like get in here, everybody. I want to push out of this port if we can to keep a very close eye on their orgs. If we can get around Palmero, that would be nice. Here we go. Because these guys can come from this direction, but our fleet can't go. Really weird. I'm probably about to overflood supply here by sending in this many divisions, but I don't really care. Try and push the strait, and then just in case we'll start a naval invasion right behind them. Because it might be necessary. Nope, not going to be necessary. I started saying that when it didn't look like we were going to be able to push the strait, and then we pushed the strait. We're going to be able to basically battle plan up the Italian peninsula now. Oh, they tried to navally invade behind us. Okay, we're going to need to grab some divisions in reserve, probably the tanks, move them over to Palmero, because they are going to try and take that port. Oh, and there goes our fleet. Well, they did their job, I think. They distracted and whatnot. Bring the tanks up here, because we didn't actually manage to clean up Toronto. It'll be fine, but, you know, we're going to want to get that cleaned up. Hey, stop it. And at this point, because we've put so much on cast, we're just hitting them with 1,000 cast, and there's nothing really AI can do against 1,000 cast. Oh, I forgot to cancel that justification. Oops. You know what? They 100% are not a major. We'll just declare war on them and then strap bomb them. Once Italy caps, because we've strap bombed them, they'll cap too. Not intentional, but a little bit cheesy you can do. Oh, they navally invaded next to us. They did the same thing we did to them. Well, turnabout's fair play. So there's definitely an argument to be made that this is easier if you let Germany Anschluss first, but, you know, you don't have to. And like I said, we got Spain out of this. Who needs to win the Spanish Civil War when you can just puppet them afterwards? I think we'll puppet Italy. Not very nice borders if we control that, but we're definitely going to take out the Germans. The Germans know what they did. But now we are in a perfect spot to click a whole bunch of propaganda buttons for the rest of the time and then not lose any core states. Well, we haven't lost any, and the only person who might declare war on us is Japan. So just, you know, line up on their border, don't forget about this state, and you're good. I'm not going to bother doing that. That's going to take another 7 years, and I don't feel like it. But you're set up in a good position to do it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.